How is Huggy Wuggy still alive? The big reveal of Chapter 4 was that we'd be starting Chapter 5 with a good old chase sequence just like we had all the way back in the first game over 4 years ago. But the elephant in the room here is the big question of how this guy managed to survive and end up down here with us. Well, at the end of Poppy Playtime Chapter 1, after getting chased by Huggy Wuggy through the vents, we knock him off of our platform, sending him to fall to his death. Now, this was presumably the moment that Huggy Wuggy died, and at the time most of the community believed exactly that. But for the longest time, there have been some believers in the community saying that Huggy Wuggy could still be alive. Seeing it now being proven true, it's a big payoff for those theorists. But what exactly led them to believe he survived in the first place? Actually, the debate of Huggy Wuggy's survival has been an ongoing battle in the community ever since we watched him fall. And the main evidence for his survival was actually pretty convincing. In Chapter 2, we enter a room in which we can construct our very own Bunzo Bunny. It's a very easy room to forget about for casual players, but for those lore hunters who believed of Huggy's survival, this room is perhaps the most important piece of evidence. Because looking through this room, we can find scraps of blue fur and patches of blood, a clear indicator that Huggy Wuggy had been here recently. Although some people thought this detail was a way to show that Huggy's body just fell through this area, leaving some evidence behind, many theorists in the community thought this had to mean something deeper. That Huggy didn't just fall through this area, but instead climbed out of this room looking for revenge. This is the pillar of hope that provides evidence for Huggy's survival. It's as if the devs purposefully wanted us to hold on to that hope that this beloved villain might have a return. On top of this evidence, what led people to believe Huggy Wuggy might have survived was the fact that there has been a consistent flow of references to him throughout the last 3 chapters. In Chapter 2, we obviously have the Whack-a-Huggy minigame, and in Chapter 3, we see a Huggy cutout and have a very strange nightmare sequence where we get chased down a hall by Huggy, eventually leading to our death. And then there's the obvious. Realistically, since Mob Entertainment has had Huggy as the face of the Poppy Playtime series for so long, the fact that he survived was bound to be true. At some point, they had to bring him back, but at the time, some people still had their doubts. A post from Bandicoot OK 6855 read, "I see a lot of people saying, oh, but Huggy might be alive, blah blah. He's not. Let's look at this." After the first fall onto the railing, Huggy is motionless, showing that the first much lighter fall knocked everything out of him. Then he continues to fall down, hitting several objects down the way. Him surviving this alone is unlikely. However, Lapis Lazuli is the best has his own take on Reddit. Poppy said, "We killed Huggy." People have said that this confirms Huggy is dead, simply because it wouldn't make sense from a narrative point to have Poppy say this. But it does. It could just be a red herring, something that a storyteller uses to make the audience believe a certain thing. Both of these arguments hold really strong points, but let's be honest, we've already seen that Huggy lived. So the big question is how? How did Huggy Wuggy manage to survive a fall from the very entrance of the factory, past the game station, past Playcare, past the prison, and all the way down here? Well, what if I told you that the answer was he didn't? That's right, Huggy Wuggy actually died in his fall. It's a crazy take, I know, but just listen to my evidence and you might just change your mind. First, let's address the big flaw in what I'm saying. If Huggy Wuggy died, how is he right in front of us at the end of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4? Well, I think what happened here is that right after Huggy landed all the way down in the prototype's home, he was actually healed and brought back to life by the prototype. My main reason for assuming this is actually because of one Discord message sent by Zach Belanger. Belanger? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyways, he's the Mob Entertainment CEO. Quote, "Prototype equals Palpatine and Huggy equals Darth Vader." Now, this message holds so much value to the theory because of its implications. If you don't know much about Star Wars, what Zach is actually referencing here is the fact that in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi chops off Anakin, or otherwise known as Darth Vader's, legs, leaving him there to die. I think in this case, we are Obi-Wan Kenobi and Huggy Wuggy is Anakin. However, after being left to die, Palpatine appears, showing up to the rescue and helping Anakin survive the attack. By comparing this to the game, it's very clear what is being referenced. This is definitely hinting at the fact that Huggy survived by being healed and resurrected by the prototype. By looking at his appearance, we can see that's very likely the case. It's unlikely that Huggy managed to patch himself up without help. You can literally see here that his guts are hanging completely out, only being held together by some bandages. Someone, presumably the prototype, helped Huggy Wuggy survive so that he could eventually get his sweet revenge. Because one thing is definitely certain, if we do start chapter 5 in this predicament, it's not going to be easy to survive this time. Huggy Wuggy is not going to hold back at all, which makes me think that the only true way we survive this encounter is by having Kissy Missy come to save us. If you really think about it, a fight between two bigger bodies has really never been seen before, and this fight would honestly be pretty evenly matched. They've both been through hell. Kissy Missy surviving an anonymous attack, and Huggy Wuggy surviving such a great fall. And on top of this, they both only have one arm, making this fight completely fair. If Kissy Missy does come to the rescue, I think this could be an insane way to start off the 5th and possibly final chapter. And if this theory is right, this could open a whole lot of possibilities for other past villains. I mean, who's to say that the prototype didn't just take the body parts he needed from Catnap, and just like he would have done with Huggy, perhaps he revived him under his complete control. I mean, we already know that Catnap worshipped the prototype, so this would be a really smart way for the prototype to gain full unconditional control of nearly any toy in the factory. For all we know, we could be facing every villain we have in the past combined in a single chapter. Tell me that wouldn't be an insane plot twist. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. What we do know for a fact is that once we spawn into this world of the Playtime Factory, we are going to face possibly the fiercest and most unstoppable force to be seen in the Poppy Playtime series. Even if Kissy Missy does come down to help, it's safe to say that this fight is not gonna be one that's easy to survive, because Huggy Wuggy definitely wants his revenge. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm really interested to see how you guys think we'll escape this vengeful monster. And while you're down there, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching.